It's your boy, Michael Turner, back with another episode of Yahmsayin. If you're looking at an environment that you haven't seen before, I'm in Cincinnati. I'm not at home right now. Actually, I couldn't be more at home. This is the home that I had in Cincinnati when I grew up in beautiful Loveland, Ohio, just off the 275 loop in Cincinnati as I attended Sycamore High School. A lot of local references there. But this is the apartment that my mother has lived at since I was in 9th grade, maybe. Yeah, I know they got divorced when I was 9. And then we moved to a townhome in Fields Erdel, or off of Fields Erdel Road. And then we moved here. Yeah, I think I was in 9th grade, maybe, so 14 or something like that. So my mom's lived here for, which is insane to think about, 22 years in the same apartment. A lot of you out there are like, damn, we grew up in a home with 2 stories and a basement and shit like that. Well, I didn't do that. I was on the bottom floor of an apartment complex in Loveland, Ohio. And you know what? Honestly, the crazy thing is, I will say, it's a pretty huge apartment complex. We got, like, the best unit. Only because the backyard is nobody. It's just the woods. Beautiful foliage back there. You can sometimes see deer running through it in the mornings, you know? And, but yeah, this is home. So I'm back. I'm back in Cincinnati. I'm also, if you see my attire right now, we got merch. I've been telling you guys, we got merch, and it officially came through. I had to get some myself. It is merch that I'm having made to order. So when you order it, they'll make it, and then they'll send it to you. This is a crew shirt, crew sweatshirt, or whatever, crew sweater. And then look at this. If you're watching on YouTube right now, I'm doing a little visual for you. This is, these are some sweatpants. As you know, if you know anything about me from watching videos of me or anything like that, I wear sweatpants, and I like crew sweaters quite a bit. So I got that. I threw Yahmsayin on there. And a little subtle logo for you guys. So if you guys want to rock that stuff, there's also T-shirts available. I got a dad hat on there. I've got a pint glass that has the Road Warrior Tour on there. And then also I have the Road Warrior Tour logo with my name on there, which is pretty badass. That's my favorite one. I think you guys should all tap into that one. They're all dope, but also this is super comfortable too. So clock in. Get that. It's fucking stitched on. You know what I'm saying? Look at your boy. I'm usually only rocking Puma unless it's some shit that I put together, which this falls into that. So go get that. Yeah, keep rocking with your boy. This is on YouTube right now. If you're watching this, double tap that shit. Comment. Say something. Share it with the homie. And then also, if you're listening on Spotify, Apple, whatever like that, if you haven't reviewed it yet or said something about the pod and rated it, definitely do that. Trying to get these numbers up. Getting a lot of good traction right now, everybody. We got people fucking with us. You know what I mean? I'm in Cincinnati because I'm on the Road Warrior Tour, and this is week 2 of the NFL regular season, and I am traveling the whole year with the Cincinnati Bengals on the road. And then this is the only home game that I'm going to be covering. But last week I just got here yesterday by way of bus from Cleveland, Ohio. I spent like 3 days in Cleveland, and let me tell you, it's, you know, more like Leveland. You know what I'm saying? Huh? A city so nice, LeBron left twice. Is that what we're talking about? It is. I've been there before, and I've never walked away like I could relocate there. That's some place I'd like to live. But it is still very Ohio. It's always nice being back in Ohio because you remember where you're from. It's something about people's faces. They just look like they just got off a job at the factory, and they're in easily one of the worst relationships they've ever been in. But they've been in it for so long that they're not going to get out. What are we going to break up? You know what I mean? Like walking around Cleveland and looking at people, you're like, you start to, at least, I'm not justifying it, but you start to understand domestic violence. You know, you walk around Cleveland long enough, you're like, there is not any level of hope in this city. I'm just going to hit the closest person to me. And sometimes that's your wife or, a daughter or a son. But you do. I'm not saying it's justified. It's one of the worst things that you can do to another person that you love. Definitely, probably number one. I would say number one's definitely killing. Murder's tough. That's even beyond domestic violence. That's domestic murder. I think it goes beyond domestic. I think they're just going to drop that out of there. But it's a town like that. You're walking around. You're like, I definitely understand that it happens in a town like this. So I'm not sure what the numbers are there, where Cleveland ranks on domestic violence, domestic disputes, but just after spending 3 days there, I'm going to put it in the top 20 for America. But again, if you're listening to the Yahmsayin podcast with Michael Turner, we do not condone actions like that. And we don't condone living in Cleveland. So I think, I'm firmly against these things. But yeah, I did do the first official NFL week of the Road Warrior Tour. So I've been doing the preseason stuff, as you guys know, if you've been listening. We tapped into Atlanta, we did D.C., and then you do the regular season, and you realize this shit is different. It's crazy thinking about it. I was trying to explain in D.C. to this guy that was helping me film. Also, real quick, if you're watching on YouTube and the lighting is off, I didn't bring my fucking studio lights. I'm in my mother's apartment, and, the lighting's a little weird. Deal with it. I think I still look fine. But the preseason stuff, I was trying to explain it to this dude that helped me film in D.C., and it's so weak in comparison. People that go to a preseason game are actually fucking weird to me. I remember I went to one when I was growing up because the Patriots were in town, and I think they had just won the Super Bowl, and my dad, we were downtown. It was like a spur-of-the-moment thing. I went with my buddy Brandon, actually. Me and my dad and him for some reason, we were downtown, and my dad was like, let's go to the game. But my dad was also a bargain guy, and he probably was thinking, long-term, my son can't say I didn't buy him tickets to a Bengals game, because I know he wasn't flush at that point. He was in between checks. You know what I mean? My dad was, I always think of my father in films. He was like Ray Liotta in Blow. Is that who played the father? Whoever played Johnny Depp's dad in Blow was my dad. He's always just a little short on the month's rent. You know what I mean? Sometimes you're flush and sometimes you're bust. When you're down, you never think you're gonna go up, and when you're up, you never think you're gonna go down again. But life keeps going, Georgie. That's the spoiler alert. That's the opening scene of Blow, and then Johnny Depp goes on to make a lot of money selling illegal drugs and not being, his father. It's still good. That movie still holds up. But that was my dad. He wasn't a guy that was going to be able to buy season ticket, or not season tickets, but even regular season ticket games. So he was like, well, we went to that one game. And but the preseason shit, you don't go to preseason games. It's the parking lot was not even half full. It was a third full. It was a quarter full. It was pathetic shit. The preseason energy was whack. The coolest one was the Atlanta one because the stadium was dope. That was actually a great way to see the Atlanta stadium because I didn't give a fuck about the game going on. We were just looking at the stadium. But the regular season is fucking different. It fucking locks in, especially in a town like Cleveland. Say what you will, I'm obviously talking shit, and really it's, it's all love. Those people, I understand those people better than I want to admit. But in Cleveland, the Browns fans are fucking hardcore. I also think the teams that have been through a bunch of bad seasons like that are some of the best fan bases. If you've got true pain, I think the Bengals fans are some of the best fans in the world. I know that there's seasons that we've done some dumb shit as fans. We wouldn't, they were really good a couple seasons and we still weren't coming to the games. But it was also there was the fifth season of Andy Dalton, and we were we know what this is. We're very familiar with what's going on. We're out on this, even if we're going to the playoffs. But a Browns or Lions fan base would be if we fucking went to the playoffs, I don't give a shit how we got there. They'd be packing out the stadium. It's all right, well, the economy was tough that year. All right, fuck you. But we got a great fan base. I'm obviously biased, but organizations like that, like the Lions, the Browns, the Bengals, have been through so much hardships that those fan bases are usually some of the best. And also they're good fan bases because even when they win, like Patriots fans sometimes I think are the fucking worst because they're so spoiled with victories that when they lose, they don't know how to lose because they win so much. And it's annoying to deal with them when they lose. It's like, also, you're just like, dude, shut the fuck up. You lost today a regular season game to the Dolphins. You've won 6 championships. Shut the fuck up. Get the fuck out of my face, right? Whereas, like, those fans, they don't know how to lose. Whereas, you know, say what you will, you don't want to be a fan base of people that are very familiar with losing, but we know how to fucking lose. Like, the Bengals went into Cleveland and they lost this first game. You know what? People are like hitting me up like, you okay? Am I okay? I've been a Bengals fan for 36 years. I'm fine. I mean, I'm lying to you right now. I was not okay. But I'm going to get through this. I'm going to drink a couple of fucking domestic lagers. I'm going to not watch a lot of ESPN for 24 to 36 hours. I'm not even going to I'm kind of going to completely check out of sports for a little bit. I don't want to catch the highlights. I don't want to hear anybody's opinion on it. Those are the worst things about when you lose. You don't want to consume any media or anything like that, and especially like today, everybody, you know, all different angles you're getting. You open one app and you're just seeing fucking whatever it is that you don't want to see from the Bengals loss. So, but I know how to lose. I understand how to lose. Like, we're walking out, it's like, did we been here before? 0-1? Like, I know you can talk your shit, but like, all right, whatever. I'm familiar with this feeling. I know how to deal with this. It's not going to be fun, but the sun will come out tomorrow. Bet your bottom dollar that tomorrow there'll be sun. Is that Annie? I'm a fucking show tunes guy. You don't know that about me. I'll sing Oklahoma right now. Where the wind comes sweeping down the plains. Fuck you. But that's the good thing about being a downtrodden fan base is you do understand how to lose. And the Browns fans know how to lose. That's for sure. I will say they have beat the Bengals consistently in recent memory. I think ever since we've had Joe Burrow, they've beat us like we're 1-5, I think it is, or 1-6 or something like that. So that sucks. We've also in that time frame gone to a Super Bowl and gone to an AFC Championship back-to-back years. So we're at least able to fucking brag a little bit more, which was on the other side of things the nice thing about leaving the game. Because Browns fans understand that they beat the Bengals. Okay, brag about that. What else you got to brag about, right? You've beat the Bengals a bunch the past 3 years. That doesn't mean anything. The Bengals are still doing way better than you. So they know even when they win, they don't get like all high and mighty, which I do respect because I hate when people get all, you win one game and then it's fucking, you're the most hyped person in the world because you got to be very tepid. You got to be very tepid as a Browns fan. Lions, I keep bringing up. The Jets. The Jets just had Rodgers go down. I feel so bad for Jets fans, but Jets fans are very familiar with this pain. This is stuff that they know about. This is shit that they're like not new to, which sucks even worse because they know how bad it feels. They just have to keep feeling like that. Speaking of domestic violence, you know what I mean? When you just never leave the relationship, you know what that right hook's going to feel like when you overcook the tuna casserole, but you keep fucking doing it. You overcooked it again, you know? So, yeah, the Jets thing, that was fucking brutal. But those are all fan bases that are like really, really familiar with the pain. That was the biggest thing that I found. So I go to Cleveland. I do a show, first of all, the night before. It was great. We did it in it was called Mahal's Apartment. Really cool venue, actually. I will say this about, I didn't dive too deep into Cleveland's nightlife. It was a pretty busy weekend, so I didn't want to get to the tailgate like super hungover or anything like that, so we didn't dive into too much. I went to 4th Street is a thing that they have, kind of overdone. It's like they're downtown by all the stadiums. Wasn't that great, but I get what they're doing down there. And then, but I was on I guess it would have been the west side of town in Lakewood, and you know what? Not bad. kind of some cool stuff going on. You talk to enough people, and I guess it's like somebody says the gayest per capita, the gayest community in America. And I'm sitting here like, have you been to West Hollywood? That's some of the gayest shit I've ever seen in my life. But I guess maybe they're more closeted. I don't know. I didn't get the feeling. It's funny being in a town like Cleveland and being like, this is your gay neighborhood? Okay. All right. I expected less homeless people and more clean streets. That's usually what you get. Say what you will about the homosexuals, but they hate homeless people. Homeless and homosexuals do not combine. Go to whatever the gayest neighborhood is in your city. You won't see any homeless people. They're great. I love them as a people. Homosexuals are great people. You guys know how to have a good time. You hate homeless people. That's for straight people to deal with. Or maybe you've dealt with them so well. Maybe you guys got it all figured out that they don't even fuck with you guys. You bullied them out. It's impressive stuff. You guys clean up the neighborhood pretty good. But Lakewood is I don't know. It's more Lakewood, more like Lickwood, huh? Bunch of dudes blowing guys. You guys get what I'm saying, but I guess that neighborhood. That's what somebody said. It's like I don't know if that's still the stat, but at some point it was like per capita one of the most gay, like the most gays in a community. I don't know, per square mile. Who's fucking doing that math? But either way, that was that area, and it was cool though. It was some dope little bars. That's I guess a long-winded way of saying it was a dope little area, specifically where I had the show. It was called Mahal's 20 Lanes, and in the basement is bowling alley. But then on the first level, when you walk in, is like a vinyl record shop. There's a live music place to the left, and then there's a really dope bar. And then you go downstairs, and there's a bowling alley that they used to be 20 lanes. It's now only 10 lanes. It's old bowling alley. It's like one of those bowling alleys with like some fucking spunk on the wood. You know what I mean? Not like cum. I think some people call spunk cum. I'm saying some spunk and like some pizzazz. Like these lanes have personality. These lanes have been through some shit. You know what I mean? These bowling lanes have been there since fucking Carter administration. It looked like. You know what I mean? These lanes have a fully formed opinion on the Kennedy assassination, that type of stuff. These lanes have seen some stuff. They're not too slick or anything. They're fucking old ass wood with some lacquer on them, bitches. Also, first thing I did end up rolling a ball fucking through a strike. That's fucking Ohio as shit. Haven't bowled in like at least a year or so. First one, boom, fuck you. So downstairs is a bowling alley, and then next to the bowling alley is like I guess I would call it like not a speakeasy, but it's a really dope little cocktail lounge. Old living room type vibe. Super cool setup. And then all the way upstairs is what they call Mahal's apartment. And I'm assuming this dude named Mahal owned this whole fucking joint, and he lived upstairs. This is the dots I'm connecting. But in the living room of that apartment, they've turned it into a small little like venue space. They can do live music in there, and then you can do obviously live comedy in there. So we did the stand-up show in there, and it held like 50 people. We ended up getting a good crowd out. It was fun. It was super fun. So the show was cool. That was Saturday night, and then Sunday was the game. And yeah, we didn't dive into the city as much as maybe I did in DC and Atlanta, but I didn't really have as much time. Also, I'm not sure all the food stuff that they have. I've been to Cleveland and Akron. I used to date a girl from Akron, so I've been there through the lens of somebody that was from there, and I have eaten the things. And the one thing I think you get is Swensons, I believe it's called. And you know what? It's just a good little burger joint. They did it right. You know, I'm not opposed to that. That's their local shit. You know, there was some stuff you can get with drinks that I think was good. They had some nice fried. What the fuck did they have? You know what? I had a good time at Swenson's when I went there, but I didn't make it this time. That's their thing. You know, I can't hate on everything. I heard they got a decent chili dog up there. It ain't no Skyline Coney, but good for you guys having culinary stuff. But we did do. I did like try to explore a little bit. I went to a park by the lake that ended up. The Lake Erie is big enough where you can get like a beach. Whoa. The last fucking thing I expected to see in Cleveland, Ohio, was a fucking beach. And it was so literally like whatever you think of. If I told you there was a beach in Cleveland, however disgusting you think that is, that's exactly what it looked like. It was so depressing. It was a cloudy ass day. It was one of those days that looked like it was going to rain and it just didn't all day. And you're like, what the fuck is this? Just constant storms. Like, what are we in, Mordor? What the fuck is going on? It never rained. It was just cloudy as shit. It was miserable. And the beach, there's people down at the fucking beach throwing, like, I literally witnessed somebody throw a stick in the water to their dog. And the dog looked at the stick in the water and was like, nah, I'm not doing. I've never seen a dog not run after a stick. It's a good, girthy stick, too. Formidable stick. And this dog was a mutt. It was a good-looking dog that looked like he was going to fucking book it and get this stick. Dog said, nah, not today, fam. Thank you. I'm all set. That's how fucking disgusting the lake is. It was, it was crazy to watch. I did not expect to see a beach in Cleveland, and that was disturbing. I'm sure there's like 2-3 days though out of the year that thing's fucking humming, dude, and it all makes sense and everything clicks. But I got it on a bad day, caught a bad angle on that thing. I did get eyes on that. So that was interesting. There was a pier down there that looked fucking so depressing. It was like concrete. It was a concrete pier is not appealing ever. And it was a tough looking pier, tough looking beach overall. But what the fuck? Cleveland, they got to do something. And then but the next day, yeah, so we go to the tailgate and we go fuck with the Browns fans. The Bengals actually sent me 2 tickets, which is cool. Oh, also during all of this too, you might have seen on my social media, I've been like I signed a contract with the Bengals. The contract isn't like, they're not paying me anything, right? I'm not trying to flex too hard, but it was also dope as fuck. Sometimes like people are like, what is the contract? What does it mean? Did they pay you? Blah, blah, blah. It's cool as shit. I don't got to explain everything through a fucking IG story. Why don't you fucking listen in and hear what's going on? Everybody's always DMing you like, oh, so you work with the Bengals now, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, I signed a contract, which they're going to be filming stuff that I'm doing. And it's really fucking cool. I'm super excited about it, but they do a weekly all-access show. It's almost like an in-season all-access Hard Knocks or something like that, but it's in-house. They're doing it through their own media team, and they want to tap into fans that are doing cool things, and they've tapped into what I'm doing. And so week 1, they want to have potentially like a recurring thing throughout the season and tap into me and see how the tour's going and stuff like that. But they met with me before the show. They came to the comedy show. They watched me. They hopefully didn't get too offended. I cross some lines. I've been known as a habitual line crosser. But yeah, we had some funny jokes up top about like Cleveland and Cincinnati and stuff like that. So that was relatable. I think they got that type of footage. And they want to, tap into the fan base and see who's doing cool stuff. And so I was one of those people that they've chosen. And hopefully we make the final cut, But they went out, they came, they saw me do the stand-up show the night before. And then the day of, they came out to the tailgate with the pre-show or the pre-game tailgate. And we went to a place called Muni Lot, the Municipal Lot. I guess the old Brown Stadium used to be called the Municipal Stadium or something like that. And so this Muni Lot is where they used to party. And it's a good little hike from the stadium. It's like, still a 15-minute walk from the stadium, but that is where shit goes down. And we tapped into that. And right when you walked in, it is fucking people from Cleveland. It is wild. It's wild. It's always funny to me. I remember being in Europe and looking at people, not only how they dress, but how they look, how their face looks, and thinking it's funny that they look foreign to me. I don't know if that is a dumb thing to say, but I don't know. It's fascinating to me that we are all human beings. We're all the same. We all are fucking the same type of chicks or dudes. We think, overall, a beauty standard I thought was pretty consistent. I guess that's where I'm wrong, is all the beauty standards and what people think is attractive in each culture is completely different. That's how people end up looking all different all over the country. But it's funny in Europe when you look at somebody's face and be like, why does he look Swedish, or why does he look like he's from France or something like that? And I say it confusingly because at this point we're all fucking different colored people and different races and shit like that. We're all kind of mixing and matching, so we're kind of all are looking more similar in what I think. And it's funny when you go to these different pockets and prove myself wrong. I'm completely wrong on this. And it is proven to me all the time, because then you go to Cleveland and you look at these people's faces and you're like, you look like a dude from Cleveland. What is that? You look like you've never left the fucking metro area. Also, like, you look like you don't even know what Florida looks like, and you look like a dude that should love Florida. You look like a dude that should spring break at Florida, but somehow you look like a dude that's just thought about Florida and never left the city of. You probably never been on a plane. It's crazy shit, and it's wild that you can just read it from a person's facial structure. You're just like, pfft. And it's definitely a bunch of those type of people. And then you get the people I do love, like the chicks too. You've got these the chicks are so fun too. That's the other wild thing about like Midwest, but also like good football towns. Like, the chicks know that they're trying to bang dudes, so you got to go fucking. Every dude in this city loves the fucking Browns. So what are you gonna be, a chick that just fucking hates the Browns? No, go have fun and act like you like the Browns. You obviously don't like them as much as fucking, Steve over there that just bet rent on the fucking money line. You know what I mean? But you gotta go fucking rub some elbows, suck some dicks. So these chicks, they fall in love with the sports teams too in these towns. Bengals fans that are chicks are the fucking best. Some of these chicks fucking care way more than even me, and I give a fuck. You know what I mean? And so these chicks, these Browns fans, they were cool. There's some tough looking broads, but there's some cute chicks, and they, like I always say about these Midwest chicks, they'll drink you under the table and they'll still blow you at the end of the night, and that's special. That's special stuff. That's the special sauce we're talking about. When you look at an old couple and be like, why is what worked for your marriage? And it's like communication, trust, honesty. It's like, no, she drank as much as I would drink, and she still gave me a blower. And that's how your relationship works for 40 years. That's love. But so there's something to be. I learned a lot about love in this municipal lot at the Browns tailgate. But yeah, the chicks are cool. You're just like reminded of cool Midwest chicks. They're dope. They look they look different. I've been in the West Coast for a long time now, for like almost 20 years. I've lived out in, whether it's Phoenix or LA now. And you do go back to the Midwest, and you're like, yeah, you got a couple extra LBs on you. A lot of these relationships are based on fucking domestic lager and fried food and reverse happy hours and fucking pills. That's the foundation of most of these good Midwest long-term relationships. And but they're fun. They're fun chicks. It was cool to see that too. Dive back into that. You got a lot of stuff going on in Cleveland though, and it was actually, I should rephrase that completely. You don't have a lot of stuff going on in Cleveland. Therefore, all you have going on is the Cleveland Browns, and that's what it felt like. That's for real what was the biggest takeaway. Like, the tailgate was, you just get to talk to these people, and you kind of dive in. I'm always trying to be right on the middle. I'm not trying to fight people. I'm not trying to, like, there were some young dudes, some young Browns fans, like probably 22, 23. Like, this one kid was like, you guys fucking suck. We fucking beat your guys' asses 4 times in a row, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, I am 36. I know how much he gives a fuck, though. Because I remember being, like, 22 one there where the Bengals were good. They started getting good in like 2005. So I was like 18, 19, 20 when the first time the Bengals were like in the playoffs in my life, at least from what I remember. And I like because I don't remember when they were in the Super Bowl in 1989 and shit like that. So my clear memory, they were not good until I was like 18, 19, 20. And you know, we fucking were in a rivalry with the Steelers and shit like that. Like the shit that I would have said to Steelers fans, you know, the passion that I had, the fuck you guys suck type thing, that was the same energy he was giving me. So you had to let him have that. And we filmed it, and I remember filming it and thinking this is all going to get cut because this dude is just angry. You know what I mean? He's trying to be the man that his father has always wanted him to be, but he's never getting to that level. And his dad's been letting him know for about 7-8 years. You know what I mean? He's like, you can't even pitch the ball straight, you fucking queer. You know, shit like that's going on in his house. So these Browns games, hanging with the boys, getting a little unchecked white aggression out, that's the closest thing he's got to God, you know? So I get that. He's letting a lot of that out on me. And maybe his father's got a mustache like mine, you know? So what are you going to do? But there was that unchecked white aggression for sure. But for the most part, the fan base was like, the one theme of it I noticed was a lot of them would say stuff like, when you're here, it feels like family, like all that type of stuff. It's really classic trauma bonding is what happened at the Browns tailgate. You've got a lot of people that have been through trauma. And what do people that have been through trauma always say to other people that are going through the same trauma? They're like, you're not alone. And then, you know, that's how Browns fans cope. That's literally, I was saying it in the video you guys can watch on my YouTube, is that Browns tailgate, that's the biggest AA meeting in the world, is the Cleveland Browns tailgate. It's the biggest AA meeting in the world, and you can't do the 12-step program without stepping through Cleveland. Figure that out, you know? That's what I'm saying. The 12-step program starts in Cleveland, Ohio. And hopefully by the 12th step, you have walked the fuck out of Cleveland, Ohio. But it's a lot of people that are just dealing with real pain and fucking shit years. And then it's funny that, like, the biggest hope that they have to now deal with, like, if this guy goes to the playoffs and the Super Bowl and shit like that, you have to be a Deshaun Watson fan, and you have to have women in your family and potentially, like, a daughter or, like, a wife, or you've got a woman in your life, a mother, and you have to defend the idea of Deshaun Watson being the man that you root for more than anybody. And, you know, I'm all for bouncing back and, you know, rehabbing your image and shit like that. But, you know, not when it comes to fucking 24 counts of sexual assault. You kidding me? These are the type of people that should be killed in public. Public execution type stuff through the judicial system. We do that, you know, if he was either way. But, yeah, interesting tailgate for sure. Of the tailgates that I've ever been to, and we'll be breaking all these tailgates down week to week, you know, tapping in, seeing maybe where they rank and shit like that. I don't know. Maybe we can do something fun like that. But I would say of all the tailgates I've been to, the Raiders ones are probably the most fun. I really did enjoy the Packers one. Those were good Midwest people that were very, like, hospitable and very, like, it was all fun. It was very fun. And they didn't, like, talk. Like, with the Browns, there's a level of energy that's just, like, scrappy-do type energy where they're just trying to fight. They're, like, trying to defend themselves, but they know that they don't got the muscles to do it. So that's kind of sometimes, like, chill out. But the Browns, with all that being said, though, the Browns tailgate was one of the best tailgates I've ever been to for sure. They have a good time. They know how to party. They're fucking drinking. It's a win or lose, we still booze thing. I'm a Arizona State Sun Devil. Like, I knew that we weren't the only people that ever said that. But we are number one in innovation, so we could have been the first people. I don't know. We could have innovated that statement. But, like, and also I'm a Bengals fan. Like, this shit is tough. But like the Sun Devils, more so than any team, it relates to me to the really fucking miserable teams that the Sun Devils. They never tickle me with hope. They had like 1 year with fucking when Taylor Kelly broke his leg against Colorado or whatever the fuck this. I get angry just thinking about it, you know. But like the Sun Devils are always they're like 7-5, 8-4 is like the best we do. Like we always just know that we're gonna go have a good fucking time at this tailgate. We don't really care. I want them to win, but I don't really expect them to win. And we're going to have a good time either way. And when we lose, we're going to walk out of the stadium, and it's going to be 80 degrees on Mill Avenue, and there's going to be some smoke shows. So maybe in that way it's not the same as Browns. Maybe I'm wrong on that. But the way that they get after drinking and, like, not really worrying if you win or lose or whatever like that, like, if you do lose, you're going to be fine. You're gonna party all night, and you're going to fucking, you know, you're going to be around family. And maybe you're going to bang one of them. I don't know. Seems like something Cleveland people would do. And maybe you get drunk enough to hit one, too. And that's a full night in Cleveland. You have sex and you hit a loved one. That's fun. And the team obviously loses, too. That's the trifecta. But that's, you know, that was Cleveland. Then we went to the game. First of all, that's all pregame, too. Then I actually went to the game. And, you know, if you're watching this as a Bengals fan, then, you know, just know that we're fine. We're going to be just fine. I was in that stadium, and we lost 24-3 to the Cleveland Browns on Sunday. And it was fucking ugly. It was bad. The Bengals looked horrible. But once it started raining, like right before the game, it started, like, drizzling. And then it was just steady. I don't know how to describe it. I've been to Portland and to Seattle before when it rains all day. It was more than that. Like sometimes there's rain in Seattle that's like it's like a constant mist, if that makes sense. It's just like it's constantly wet, but it's not even raining. This was like a step up from that. It was like just steady raining, but it was like not pouring. It was just steady rain. And it was disgusting. It was fucking horrible to watch the game in that. I woke up in the morning. I was like, shorts and a T-shirt. I'm not going to need anything else. Well, I needed more. Could have used a poncho. Don't own a poncho. Not sure who owns a poncho. Those are the type of things where when you need a poncho, you need a fucking poncho. I could have used a poncho. But it was just steady raining in a way where you were just like, I don't even want to be watching a football game, let alone playing a football game. Like, the Bengals looked horrible. Joe Burrow is still one of the best quarterbacks in the fucking league. He looked like the worst quarterback ever this past weekend. It's fine. I wouldn't even, like, take any – I would just dismiss every statistic that you have from that game. Nothing mattered in that game. It was fucking disgusting. It was a bad one. Also, in a game like that, a running game and a defense is going to be the best thing that works. In week one, you're still trying shit out. But the Browns, if they have anything week one, it's going to be a running game and a defense. And they just they capitalized on that. So that was that. The Bengals lost. They're 0-1. But if you don't think I've been 0-1 before, you got me fucked up. You know, we're going to be fine. And also, we've started 0-2 before. And we've gone on to be great. Last year we were 0-2 and we went 12-4. I don't think that that's the way you want to start every year, but it's like we're fine. We've been a team recently that has gotten better as the year goes on, and we got to go to Baltimore, or we got to go back home in Cincinnati and play Baltimore. Team just lost their running back and 2 offensive linemen, and I don't ever root for injury, but that definitely helps us this week and being able to kind of have a nice bounce back. So. And they won also. So we're a little bit more hungry. We need this shit. So I'm excited to do that. I'm going to go to that game. I got 2 shows this weekend, too. If you're in Cincinnati, come through to my shows. That's going to be fun. And then what else is going on here? Other than that, I did ask some people. Let's see if anybody answered anything. I put up a thing to see if anybody wanted to respond to my story and ask me any questions. Let's see if anybody. Somebody asked me, is Joe Burrow starting fantasy this week? Got me 3 whole points. And what I would say is, yeah. I'm a big fantasy person too. I got like 3 leagues. You drafted him because you thought he'd be good for the whole season. They're gonna have bad games. If you want to be a reactionary person and just take the 3 points and be like, all right, if you're not gonna start Joe Burrow, just fucking drop him. What the fuck are you doing? You're gonna wait for him to be great? He's already great. He just had the fucking worst weather in the world. And you know what? The Browns got a good defense. Yeah, be mad at him, but grow the fuck up. You're gonna be fine. What was the other thing somebody asked? Where will your allegiance lie when Arizona State and UC start playing head-to-head in Big 12 next year? That's an interesting question. I'm trying to figure that one out. Because the Bearcats and the Sun Devils, as I was just referencing being a Sun Devil fan, are now going to be in the same conference moving forward in, I don't know what year it is. It's coming up, like next year or 2 years from now. And so we'll have to play each other, and I'll have to pick a side. I'm putting that decision off. I will say, I've had this hypothetical discussion before with a friend of mine that said, like, if they were in the Final Four or something like that playing, like, basketball, here's what I'll say, and it'll be like a kind of playing both sides thing, but Cincinnati basketball means as much to me as any sporting team that I've ever rooted for. So in that way, the Cincinnati basketball team, the Bearcats basketball team, will always probably rank higher to me than the Sun Devils basketball team. I love the Sun Devils basketball team. I've rode for them super hard when they're great for sure. I'll pay a little bit more attention to. They've had some great seasons with Bobby Hurley, but they never really took my heart away from being a Bearcats fan, basketball wise. But Sun Devil football, that's definitely my thing there. And I'll ride with the Sun Devils football-wise. So that's probably how I'll divide my heart on the head-to-head stuff. I don't know, though. I can't really actively root against either of them. You just hope everybody has fun, huh? Just hope everybody had a good time, you know? Shit like that. That's going to be tough, though. And that'll lead me to drinking, and, yeah, I'll be fine. We'll be good. But now, I am back in Cincinnati for the week, and it is fun. This if you're watching, this is where this is where I grew up. This is where the high school years happen. And I'm sitting on a couch here. I've crashed on this couch quite a bit. Just a 2-bedroom apartment here. We weren't the most affluent family growing up. Always been a grinder myself. I'm sure you guys can tell that if you follow me. And because we didn't have too much growing up. Lived in an affluent community, but I wasn't one of those families that had the most money. But, hey, we had? A lot of love, big guy. A lot of love. Actually, not. We got in a lot of fights. We said some horrible things in this living room right here to one another, for sure. But this was my mom would stay in this first bedroom here, and then the back bedroom was actually the master that my mother let me and my brother have because we were 2 people versus 1, and she was always a very selfless person in that way. I remember growing up, she's always been somebody that's put our comfort first over hers, so God bless my mother for things like that. And so we had the back room. Me and my brother had bunk beds until fucking high school because it was a space thing, honestly. You just had to have enough room in that fucking thing for multiple people. And so I was in until like 16, I think we were in bunk beds. And until I was 16. And so, yeah, we lived in this back room, and there was a window there. My brother would sneak out a lot at night. I remember one time he convinced me to sneak out with him. These are just teenagers. We made a lot of bad decisions here. Some of the worst decisions I made started in this very apartment. And, one time he snuck out with his buddies and they were going to go smoke weed. I had probably just started smoking weed, maybe. I was definitely earlier in my smoking weed days. And they would go down to the gazebo, literally in this complex. It was one of the spots that people from high school would come through here because they knew that there was a gazebo there. There was a good spot, and you could hang out with my brother typically and go. So it was a nice little spot to go chill. And they convinced me to sneak out with him one time. We went out the window, and we go, and we're rolling up some blunts with some friends. One of our buddies, Sticky Icky Rafiq, and smoking like a chocolate blunt to the face. If you've seen my joke about shotgunning blunts, we were definitely getting blunts shotgun to the face. A lot of fucking oof. I would never, as an adult, I would never okay that with anybody. To be, what are you gonna do? You're gonna blow an aggressive amount of fucking weed smoke right in my face, and you're gonna tell me to suck in? Okay. Post COVID, no. But we were out there smoking blunts, and if you know anything about smoking a blunt, it's so smelly. It smells so fucking bad. It's so just aggressive, and so you smell like you smoked a blunt. And midway through the blunt, this woman starts coming down the thing. This is like where we were smoking in the gazebo. Is like, it's probably like a football field and a half, 2 football fields away, and you could see this woman walking in a nightgown and screaming at the gazebo. And lo and behold, it is Mimi Turner. It is my mother. She's 5'3". She got a haircut like an English boy named Pip, and she's fucking angry. She's probably got something in her hand ready to hit us. And she's like, Michael, John, blah, blah, blah. And then we know fucking we're in trouble, right? We're still teenagers. That fear of your mother finding you doing something that you know you're not supposed to be doing, oof, ran right through it. And then all of a sudden, and then your boys, best friends in the world, they're fucking leaving you alone. You're dealing with this one. And they're not wrong. You should fucking get out of here. You don't need to be screamed at by my mother at this point in your life. They all leave. We scatter like roaches. Fucking everybody goes. And then, but me and John are caught red-handed. And we're walking back to the apartment, and my mom's pissed as fuck because we snuck out. Blah, blah, blah. I'm the younger brother. She's mad at John for bringing out his younger brother, all this shit. And she's like, what were you guys doing? Let me smell your breath. Let me smell your breath. And I'm like, fuck, this is going to be horrible. Because at this point, my brother, earlier in his high school career, had already gotten caught smoking weed at one point. And my mom freaked out in a way. You definitely say she overreacted, but she hadn't had a son. She hadn't had a child that she caught smoking weed yet. And this is the fucking, this is probably 2000 maybe, 99, 2000, I don't even know. She freaked out so much about it that she sent him to like Al-Anon, which is like almost pretty much going to AA for weed, which is like, that's how they made fun of fucking, what's his name, in Half Baked. Like, you're here for weed, dude? I suck dick for crack. You know what I mean? Like, get the fuck out of here. So, my brother was dealing with that shit. But I knew in the back of my head, my mom would go to that length if she caught us or me smoking weed for sure. She'd already done it to my brother. So I'm like, fuck, I'm about to have to breathe in my mom's face, and she's definitely going to smell a chocolate blunt. And she was like, I breathed in her face with this hot blunt breath, which I was like, you're taking this to the face? I thought it was crazy taking a shotgun to my face. You're taking my blunt breath to the dome? She smells my breath, and she's like, I knew it. You were smoking cigarettes. And I was like, yes, I smoked so many cigarettes. I was like, let's go with that. She thought I was smoking Snige, dude. She thought I was just fucking smoking some Marlboro Reds out there, some hundreds. And I jumped on that right away. I was like, yeah, you're right. I was smoking cigarettes. It's so fucking dumb. And what I later realized is that we found out, well, I guess my mom knew this at the time, but I didn't really know this about her. But she's had, like, nasal surgery since. But she literally is, like, over the years lost her sense of smell, which is fucking horrible. Imagine, eating a fucking Skyline chili cheese coney and not understanding how good that shit tastes. But she's had something happen with her nose over the years, like later in her life, where she actually can't smell. So she could not smell the weed breath that I had fucking definitely breathed on her. Like, I could have probably been selling weed out of here. She would have never smelled the skunk weed. I probably should have done that. In hindsight, I wouldn't have been in this situation. And that would have been actually the way that Georgie would have done it in Blow. if I would have watched that movie with a different perspective, that's where we started with weed. But either way, my mother, that was down the street here, and that happened. And she caught me smoking cigarettes. She never knew I was smoking a blunt to the face. And, that was scary. I think she grounded me for a week. I was like, yeah, let's roll with that, dude. My bad. Never again. So, a fucking crisis averted there. We used to do a bunch of shit out of here. Had a buddy used to give me a ride to school, and he had a burnt orange. Geez, I don't even know what type of car it was, but it was like a late 70s car. It was a boat. Those old cars that are just like, how did people even drive these things? They're just fucking huge. And he would whip that thing through our neighborhood. And back when this was happening, when I was like a freshman and sophomore in high school, and they used to just be the road that you would drive back through the apartment complex, and the grass and the concrete would just kind of be whatever it is. There wasn't any curb to disassociate you from the grass to the concrete. It was just a split from the concrete to the grass. It wasn't like a curb or any separation there. So you could, which was what he would do, drive over all of the grass things. So like you were supposed to obviously swerve out of the way of these little grassy bumps that would kind of get in the way of the road. And what he would do instead was completely just drive through the grass. Like the most reckless human being that I've ever met at that point in my life. So much so that throughout our later years in high school, they ended up putting some barriers up because they heard that some crazy kid was fucking driving through in a burnt orange boat from the late 70s, just driving over the fucking grassy knolls. So that was how I would get to school every morning. That was good. And that car was filled with weed smoke. Good memories. Just down the way from here, I lived in a nice area of town that it was popular to go down the street from me and smoke weed in this area called Indian Hill. So my neighborhood is close to Indian Hill, and Indian Hill is a community that is very affluent. And a lot of you maybe living somewhere else, you might have a neighborhood like this. If you guys were cool in high school and you knew where to smoke weed, we would go to Indian Hill. We would call it pulling a hiller. And what you would do is you would meet typically at the UDF, which is United Dairy Farmer, which is a local gas station and a spot that you can get some fucking bomb-ass milkshakes at. Good-ass ice cream. It's weird just knowing that this is, like, only local to Cincinnati shit. But you guys have something like that. You ever, like, had something growing up? Like, in California, they have a thing called Rite Aid all over California. I'd never seen a Rite Aid before, but they got Rite Aid, and in the Rite Aid is a Thrifty ice cream thing. And if you live in California, you think everybody's got a Rite Aid. Fucking nobody else got a Rite Aid, okay? And in Cincinnati, we have UDF. And you probably are like, oh, everybody's got a UDF. No, nobody else has a UDF. Literally zero other people. It's a very Cincinnati thing. And they're running shit in Cincinnati. If you pull up to Cincinnati, get yourself a peanut butter and chocolate milkshake from UDF. Fucking hit my DMs and let me know how that went. You're welcome. But you would meet at the UDF right by the beginning of Indian Hills neighborhood on Remington and like Loveland Madeira Road. It's a good one. I'm giving away the house here. You would park there. You would all get into one car. Somebody would obviously have the weed, whether it be a bowl, a joint, a blunt, whatever. You roll those fucking windows up, and you drive all around Indian Hill. And you drive around Indian Hill, and you do it because it was dope, because it was nice to see the expensive houses. It's the most expensive neighborhood in Cincinnati. A lot of Bengals coaches live there, Bengals players live there, that type of shit. Cincinnati Reds, all that type of money is out there. And you would also drive through there and smoke weed because the cops wouldn't pull you over, because they thought that if they did pull you over, that you would actually just have a lawyer be able to get you out because you have family with money. And so it was a waste of time to pull you over for smoking weed in Indian Hill, because they knew that your parents would just pay the money to get you out of the situation. So they would never pull you over, because they thought that you lived in Indian Hill. So that's why you would go to Indian Hill, and you'd pull a hiller. And honestly, looking back on that, that's pretty intelligent stuff. And I don't know that I ever actually thought that in the moment, that I knew that they wouldn't pull me over. I just thought it was a cool place to smoke weed. And we never really, I guess, got caught doing it there, so you just keep going back. But I don't think I put that much thought into it until later in life when somebody brought that up to me. I was like, I guess that does make sense. That's why we did it. So up until that point, it's just dumb luck for me. Just peer pressure that led me to not being arrested. But yeah, this is where I'm from. There's a big bike path right there, the Loveland bike trail. I love that. Already hit a fucking run. It's nice. So I'm back in Cincy. I'm back here for the week. If anybody listen to this is in Cincinnati, I will be at Motor Pub in OTR on Friday and Saturday, September 15th and September 16th. We're doing one show each night. My mom will probably be at one of the shows, so that's kind of dope. Always fun. And then I will be at the tailgate. I'll be doing the Bengals tailgate for the Ravens-Bengals home game in the fucking jungle. Let's fucking go week 2. My hope is that I will also be on the Bengals all-access show later in the week. That would be dope. They did a bunch of stuff. They filmed it. They came out 2 days. So, like, I don't think they got all that footage to edit me out. Obviously, it could happen. They could also just look up some of my jokes from 2 years ago and be like, this is not somebody we should have associated with our football organization. I hope that's not the case. They were super kind. They were dope people. They thought I was funny. They've done enough research where I think they know what the type of shit I say. Also, the NFL curses quite a bit. They don't. Those guys are all saying some fucked up shit. So I don't think I'm saying stuff that much worse. But so hopefully I'll be on that. So that'll be dope. So we've got a collaboration with the Bengals. It's really cool. Everything's going good. If you know some people out there, again, that are in any city that the Bengals are playing a road game in, let them know the Road Warrior Tour is underway. Did I say that right? Road Warrior Tour? The Road Warrior Tour? If I ever have to tell a judge I'm sober and say the Road Warrior Tour, that could be tough. The Road Warrior Tour? The judiciary system? But the Road Warrior Tour is underway. It is fucking going down. It kicked off dope in Cleveland. We're going to keep this thing rolling in Cincinnati. We got Nashville after that. I'll be in Phoenix on the 7th of October. I'll be in San Jose on the 30th of October. Or no, the 28th of October. A bunch of shit coming up. So we got the whole season lined up. Tickets are on sale now. I've got this merch. If you see me rocking this, you know what I'm saying? The crew shirt. I got the sweatpants. We got a t-shirt. We got a bunch of shit. Get the dad hat. Get whatever. Pull up on the website, turnercomedy.com. All that shit is for sale. Please, if you're watching this on YouTube, hit the like, comment, share the shit, whatever you got to do. Subscribe to the page, Spotify, Apple, all that shit. If you go review it, hit me with the 5-star review. I appreciate all the love. That helps. Everything helps. I appreciate you guys so much. I'll be in Cincy all week. I'm excited for it. I'm excited to get eyes on the Bengals in the jungle, and I'm excited to keep this tour going. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.